How do you define balance?
For me, balance is being intentional with what you define happiness as, and that comes with some imbalance. You can't be perfectly balanced.
You're expecting some kind of 50-50 like equilibrium. It's like that just doesn't exist.
To get to that happiness, you still got to work. You still got to do the imbalance part of stuff.
I say no to the things that I want to say no to, and yes, the things that I want to do. And
how do you turn them down nicely? Because you're the master communication.
So I have a formula that I use, and that is
Welcome to this episode of Bourbon of Proof, where we interview those who are both successful at law and life. And today we have back on Mr. Jefferson Fisher.
Thanks for having me.
And we're here in your home state.
Yes, welcome to Texas.
Welcome to Texas. We have some Texas pours for you here today too, by the way.
Wonderful, and I note the cowboy boots. I'm very proud of you.
I actually met my wife in these. These are just Ariats, so these are my comfort boots.
This is probably what did it, honestly.
You know, I had this on, a dirty white t-shirt that was a little stained, and like this, I had a USC baseball ball cap on, and that's what sold her, I guess.
Okay, that was like a scene from Twister, the movie. Like I feel like
which Twister? I heard they come out with the Twister.
The second one was pretty good.
I never saw the second one.
It's the same as the first one, just two.
I assume there's still a natural disaster involved.
Yeah, it's a Twister, a thing. It's the whole thing. But yeah, I'm excited and welcome. I'm glad to have you in Texas, man.
Yeah, and then we were talking earlier that we're going to talk a lot about life balance with Jefferson. I know you were on the show originally. We talked about kind of your origin story, being a trial lawyer to social media and how you're helping people on scale. But now it's about balance for Jefferson.
Yeah.
Because you got your book that's coming out. Is it out? Pre-order.
Pre-order, yeah.
Pre-order. And now everybody wants to talk to you like this.
Yeah.
So now it's about balance.
A little bit of balance.
So I asked Jefferson how long you're here today, and he actually just drove up from Houston.
Yeah.
From Beaumont.
Today, this morning, and then may drive back. We'll see.
4 hours.
Yeah, depends. I don't think we have a babysitter for tomorrow, so I need to be back. So it's balance, dude.
Yeah, well, luckily you have a wonderful spouse. She's awesome.
Yeah.
You spend some time together with your family. Great. So we'll do a first pour. So you'll probably drive later tonight, so it's usually one pour per hour to get out of your system.
Great.
What's the legal driving limit here? Probably 0.08?
Yes, it is.
Actually, I've seen videos in Texas where people actually drink and drive, and they say it's totally legal.
Yeah, anything goes in Texas.
All right, so first pour, actually, we had this on the show yesterday. I was such a big fan of it. This is the Ghost pour from Dripping Springs. This was my favorite pour of yesterday, and Mike Seeley, who's an investigator here in Austin, built this piece of wood right here, which is...
That's awesome.
It is awesome. I just saw him here at CleoCon, and he handed it to me, and I'm like, we're going to use this immediately.
That's awesome. When'd you get here?
I got here
Sunday?
1 a.m. yesterday.
Oh, did you?
My plane was late, 4 hours of sleep, film a bunch of bourbon talk shows.
Oh, I thought you did shows yesterday too.
I did yesterday. So I got here yesterday at 1 a.m.
Oh,
filmed 4 shows, and then I went to sleep and woke up this morning to here. Cheers, brother. Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too. So how do you,
By the way, this is 114 proof.
Yeah, I felt that. So you have 3 beautiful kids.
Yep.
You have a wife that works. How do you define balance?
Ooh, I like the interview question.
You like that? Well, you're in my state. What are you talking about?
For me, balance is being intentional with what you define happiness as. So I'm very, very intentional of having family time, and that comes with some imbalance. You can't be perfectly balanced. Like, I can't find a routine in exercise because sometimes I'm in a different city every other week. So you find it when you can. With kids, like, they're strictly routine. You know, like, they go to bed at certain times, they have school, they have rituals, activities. We have them experience stuff with us as part of the balance. So, like, I have a big conference coming up, all my kids are coming. I think your kids are gonna come too. And it's a great time for, like, I want my kids to remember what we talked about before, these core memory times, and for them to experience it with mom and dad and see them as entrepreneurs out in the community helping people. I actually interviewed one of my daughters on our podcast, my 7-year-old. I asked her, what does daddy do for a living? She says, you help people.
Yeah.
Great answer, right?
Awesome. That's the
Didn't
answer
have to
you
get any further than that. But I think it's just, you have to be, like, I look at my week, my month, my day ahead of time, and just be very strategic of what I'm doing, just to not experience a lot of burnout, but you're gonna feel it. I mean, you have to feel it.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Gotta get sleep. Sleep's very important.
Yeah, as much as you can. Yeah, I agree. And to me, it's this. There's a difference between balance and balanced with a D. Like to me, when you say how do you find balance, it's like that you're expecting some kind of 50-50 like equilibrium. It's like that just doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. But I mean, you can stay balanced where you're just trying not to fall on the high wire. That to me is really what it's about, and just trying to find ways that, like you just said, defining your priorities is huge, but it's finding the consistency to stick to them is the most difficult. When some things have got to give, because there's just some times where it is going to give.
You set your priorities and try to gear always towards those, but sometimes it's not always going to align that way.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's, if I have a trial to do, same thing for you. It's like you have to stop all these other ones which are high priority.
2 weeks of just you're out.
You're out. But that's your priority in that moment because it's your client. This person's life is on the line. Whatever it is, that's your priority.
Yeah, but it has to be. But it's we're in this position. I know a lot of your listeners are, that you're a practicing attorney, and I know there are a lot of listeners that are also managing their own law firms. So they're having to be the manager, as well as the attorney, and then they have their family. And then we're in this position where you also have other stuff, whether it's other businesses, other, say, social media, whatever else aside something, whatever you're wanting to go and do. It's just a constant keeping all the balls in the air. But balance is very, very difficult, but I don't think it's impossible. My biggest thing is I just want to make sure my kids have amazing memories, like that's of me. I mean, of the whole family. That's what I want, because I remember as a kid, it's very different when you're older versus when you're a kid. You just think your memory's a little bit different than it is now. So I find that, what is it? I think I said this in the last episode that I love, and I still stand by, and that is you exist as a memory for your kids. So I want them to make sure that, am I there when I can pick them up at school? Am I there in the morning? That's key time. I know you really enjoy the drop-off.
Drop-off and pick-up are like the best time. Yeah. And I'm not a very good flyer, mostly because I'm a control freak. But to call yes, you would be surprised. But and I fly so much, but every time for takeoff, I just like meditate and think about happy memories with my children for like the first 30 seconds. That's how I get through it. And a lot of it's pick-up and drop-off time.
That's awesome. I saw you have like a Powerized scooter.
I have what?
A Powerized
wagon.
Wagon.
Dude, I'm telling you, so
I was jealous of it.
It's called the Sandhopper. Everybody asks what it is, but there's a local guy right outside of Manhattan Beach, and he makes these things called Sandhoppers that have giant oversized tires that's on a motor. So you put all these kids in essentially an oversized wagon with oversized tires, and it goes right on the sand. So I can roll right up to the beach. We put tents in there, pop up a tent.
Shout out Sandhopper.
Yeah, Sandhopper. But I just hold a button because I live at the top of the hill of Manhattan Beach, and we just walk up the hill. The kids are chilling. My wife, when she was 8 months pregnant, used to sit in that thing too.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I've yet to use something like that. Just old school.
Do it. Yeah. But for you, it's those, when you're creating memories with your kids. My favorite weeks or weekends where I'm not driving my car. It's just out in the community with the kids, walking around doing stuff. That for me is my happiness.
Right.
But then to get to that happiness, you still got to work. You still got to do the imbalance part of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been weird, I'll tell you, for my kids, especially my son. My son's 6, daughter's 4. So my son's picking up where were we? When we went to
Palm Springs?
Yes. Mm-hmm. We were there, stopped by a Chick-fil-A, and a family came up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a guy came up and was like, "Hey, are you Jefferson?" And of course, I was very nice. We took pictures and all that stuff. I sat back down, just trying to go back to normal. And I remember my son Jet, he was eating a French fry, and he gave me a cockeyed look. And he was like, "How do they know you?" It was very what are you telling me that I don't know? I was like, well, I help people. And he's like, yeah, but how do they know you? So it's funny to try and see, they're trying to pick up on things that are different. The kids are crazy perceptive.
And even when you think they're not paying attention, they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, they're paying big time attention. So balance, I think it's almost, there is definitely a way to be balanced, but in terms of perfect balance, it just doesn't exist. It's like constantly shifting a soundboard. You have a little bit, you're gonna have your volume, your treble, your bass. You're gonna always have to have something
Treble.
that's sliding.
All bass, no treble.
You got it. I'm all about the bass.
How about that bass?
Yeah.
No, I was big. You know, when I grew up in the era where people were putting all the subwoofers in their car and just your car would literally
Did
shake
you have a
to the
10,
bass.
15?
No, I did not put it into my, because I had this
Okay.
old Chevy S10 truck, so I couldn't, there was no trunk to put it in.
Ours is, everybody was Z71.
Really?
Yeah.
You could hear it coming down the street.
Yeah, it was just nothing but buzzing metal. While you're,
Oh, man.
yeah, it's all good.
All right, we're going to do our second pour, so drink up here, my friend,
Okay,
because
yeah.
I know you've had a hectic day.
Yeah. We
What'd you drive up in here? Did you bring your truck?
I brought the Tahoe.
That's the same as a truck. So this is Garrison Brothers, and they're
Yeah, let's say it's a truck. For y'all in California, it's probably a truck.
yeah, they call it. That was weird for me because when I came to California, they were calling SUVs trucks. I'm like, but that's not a truck.
Yeah.
And now I'm in the habit of calling it a truck because these idiots are calling it trucks.
Yeah, it was definitely not a car.
It's not a
it's
car.
like, oh, I'm not a car.
So this is Garrison Brothers, which is local one. This is their
Yes.
single barrel.
Yeah.
When you were on the show the first time, I think we had one of these, but I think it was the honey one.
It was the honey one.
Was the honey one. So this was a step up. So I think this is more, 47%. They make a lot of 47% alcohol brands with their single barrel and their small batch. So I wonder why. But two brothers local that do this. We've reached out to them. We hope to have them on the show one day because I'm a big fan of a lot of their products.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. But it's weird because we started this show just to have conversations with friends that I wanted to hang out with, and how, like you, it's taken off to its own thing where people want to come on the show, they want to sponsor and whiskey
As they
brands.
should.
Well, as they should.
That's
Cheers,
awesome.
brother.
Cheers, brother. Cheers to Garrison Brothers. We just spoke at Clio.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that was smooth.
That was smooth. See, this you could taste. This one's almost 20% more alcohol,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that one.
or 10%.
Yeah, I was blowing flames with that,
Yeah.
that first one. We just spoke at Clio. It was great. Everybody's been wonderful.
Yeah, ClioCon's one of the best conferences to go to because you have a good. I mean, it's intimidating. 3,000 people come, but it's a lot of community-driven success that they have within their company, and then also the folks that come.
Yeah, it was my first time coming, and
Really?
everything's been wonderful. There's tons of different tracks. Everybody's been great. Had great questions. It was awesome. Everybody's been wonderful.
And you should be their go-to lawyer in Houston for all trucking and injury cases,
There you go.
because not a lot of people here at Clio specialize in that specific thing.
Really?
Yes, it's Clio services a lot. Like, I know Peggy from Iowa, and Peggy does a legal clinic that she runs, literally helping people. Yeah,
Oh,
you're going to
very
meet
cool.
Peggy after the show. But
Great.
perfect example of somebody that's, because they concentrate a lot on one thing is helping access to justice, and those are people that are
important.
really helping communities.
Yeah, that's critical.
And that's one thing, the mission that they do is it's an underserved community. So I'm a fan. I just think it's a well-run company.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great. And the fact that they had it here in Austin is that's a big thumbs up. So it's
Yeah,
been
I
great.
mean, how often are you traveling now, man?
Pretty often, but I say no to the things that I want to say no to, and yes, the things that I want to do, and it's nice to have that flexibility.
How do you tell somebody no nicely? I know you're big into communication. For me, it's very difficult to. People want me to go speak at their bar or come speak to this legal tech community.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it doesn't either align with my travel or philosophically I can't do it. How do you turn them down nicely? Because you're the master communication.
So I have a formula that I use, that I teach, and that is you give the no directly, then you follow it up with a gratitude, and then you end it with a kindness. So a lot of times what happens is they start with a apology. I'm sorry, I can't. You're apologizing, number one, which I don't think is necessarily apology, or they'll say, I can't, but whenever you say the I can, it takes away from whatever was said before. So if you say, I can't, thank you so much for inviting me. And then you follow it up with, I hear it's going to be great, or I hope it's going to be amazing. Then if you end with like a very positive note, then they're like, okay, great, that's okay. Versus, I love to, but I can't. It's going to be great, but I
universe.
can't go. And it's like you invite them to ask why. Oh, why not? And that's that's the worst.
Yeah, you gotta
It's
put
like,
in the why in
I don't
there.
have to tell you why because I don't want to. That's why. Yeah. But if you end it with a gratitude, it typically
I like
goes a
that.
whole lot smoother. So if you, or it's the worst is when you give a long text of like, bro, I'd love to, but man, I got so much going on, and the dog, and I got the kids. And
I could
the
see you're
whatever,
typing.
whatever.
You're doing text with two
Exactly.
thumbs. You got to learn how to swipe, man. At your level,
It depends. It depends.
I've always used
Sometimes
one
I have to
hand,
go
I'm just
Super
going like
Saiyan
this.
and just like use
yeah.
two thumbs, but yeah, most of the time it's just one.
Yeah,
But
to get gratitude.
if you're peppering in a whole lot of leading them on, making it long, like the longer excuse, just more looks like you just didn't want to go.
Yeah, but I try to also because I just generally love helping people, so I'm going to take your advice, and usually what I do at the end is I offer them to help. If I can't go physically, I either offer somebody else I know is great that I want to try to give a speaking opportunity to,
Yeah.
or some way that I can help promote what they're doing. Because a lot of
Right.
times when they reach out to me, I'm like, I'm generally going to support the mission of what you're doing.
Sure.
But sometimes you have people reach out to you, and I look at what they're all about. And I'm like, this probably is not going to be a good one for
that's
me,
fine.
or at all.
Yeah,
you know?
I think there's nothing wrong with people understand if it's not a right fit. As long as it's not like I don't like you. It's not as long as you're not super blunt. But people understand if it doesn't align with the brand or
How
what I'm seeing.
close are we to having Jefferson artificial intelligence where you can actually write that email for me?
Yeah, we're pretty close.
Yeah.
We're pretty close. Yeah, I'm hoping that'll get launched here soon. But I'm working on a membership. That's what I'm really working on. So we're hopefully launching that in December. Wow. So I'll have like set videos. I built out a studio. You'd be proud, Bob.
I would be very proud.
I built a studio in I turned my barn, my shop, into 2 rooms. One is a gym. You'd like it. And then there's a studio with a nice camera. And so I'm going to have it'll be Jefferson Premium.
Jefferson Premium.
Yeah, no. But it'll just be a little bit different way for me to engage with.
So are these dumbbells in here? What did you put in your gym? What are you putting in there?
Oh, tonal.
Tonal. Oh God, I was going to ask you about that.
Tonal.
You should try
Tonal.
Jefferson, look at that camera and tell how awesome it'd be sponsored by Tonal.
Yeah. If you would, you can go to tonal.com, use the code Jefferson, and for 20% off. So I wish I was sponsored by them. I use it every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
So I use the same guy named Joe Rodanis.
That's my boy.
Dude, really?
Yeah.
I use Joe
He's the best.
Rodanis. You're the guy I work out with every morning.
Every
Who's your
morning.
guy?
I know. Oh, I'll tell you one thing that was cool was, so I do the Peloton, so I'll rotate my days, but one of my favorite guys that I listened to on the Peloton followed me, and that's been one of my favorite things.
Really?
Yeah. It was, and he's been so cool. I was like, dude, I rode with you this morning. So he's been, it's cool that little stuff happens. But yeah, you'd be proud. I have my tonal, my little gym, my setup, because what happens is I work out, and then from like 6 to 7, and then Ruby comes in, my daughter, at like 6:15.
Yep.
And like clockwork, and all she does is just lay on the yoga mat.
Oh, I got to train them to do
Yeah,
this.
she just lays on the yoga mat with a blanket, and then just asks me when I'm going to be done the whole time.
My kids, they want to interrupt all the time, but I have to get it. If I don't start the workout by 5:30, it's not going to happen.
It's exactly.
6:15, they're ready to go.
But here's the thing: is that like I didn't watch my parents take care of themselves at all, in terms of working out or even eating healthy. So I just want my kids to even know that I'm doing it, even though it's personally sometimes annoying because I'm like, look, I'm trying to get in the zone. I want to have a good workout. I'm having to stop, and you're wanting to try and use the weights. It's like, no, this is good. I want them to understand that this is part of that lifestyle.
So I went to this morning we're in Austin, and I got up early, and I was like, I'm going to get a workout in. I went to the gym. It was a nice gym, but I felt so awkward because I haven't been to a real gym in years since COVID. Because I'm in my house with Tonal, and I'm doing my own thing, and I was like, there's people around me. Ugh, like they're using a machine I wanted to use. This is so inconvenient.
Actually, a public gym. Yeah, no, it's not bad, but it's definitely a little bit different from that at home. But the studio is cool. So
What are you going to do with the studio?
So I'm going to also create about 5-minute videos, 5 to 7 minutes that are a little bit medium. Because when I want them in the membership, I want them knowing that they're getting something different than what's just the car videos. So Yeah, there's plans for that, and then I'm taking on sponsors for the podcast, which the podcast is doing
Can imagine.
awesome. It's doing so great, and but I'm just doing it in the car right now.
I mean, so this is where, I was tongue in cheek because I know about the AI stuff because we
Yeah.
talked about it. But imagine how powerful it would be just to ask your Jefferson AI if I would be like, I'm in this situation, or like I know I'm dealing with either this client that has this issue or defense counsel. How do I deal with the situation? And to
Yeah.
get that immediate feedback has substantial value.
Right.
But then but they need a lot of Jefferson to teach Jefferson AI. A
yeah.
lot.
Yeah. No, I have to invest a lot of time into the AI to help with that, and but I think it'd be great for people to be able to how to write that text or how to send that email and do it the right way, which is pretty cool. So I'm enjoying building this all out and testing it, and then we got everything else in the pipeline.
And how about, tell us about your pre-order. By the time this episode airs, your book will be out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
How do they order it? Where do they find it? Do you know yet?
yeah. So yeah, yeah. It was like my whole life for a week. So yes, my book, The Next Conversation, is currently out on pre-order, but maybe at the time of this podcast it will be out. It'll come out in March, and then we have it's on every retailer, so Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, and any of them. It was wild, man. I did a masterclass, like a live,
I saw that.
and I had Barnes & Noble wanted to do 1,000 signed copies, and then we did another 1,000 personalized copies through a local independent seller, because you want independent book sales to support them as well. And we sold out like instantly on that live, which was great, because you write a book and you're like, I don't know if anybody's going to read this thing. I don't know. And so Penguin Random House is the main publishing house of the book. And they told me that they were really pumped when they have maybe 500 pre-orders before publication date. And we had like over nearly 11,000 in like 2 days. And so they're
That's
just
awesome.
beyond pumped. Yeah, everything's great, man. So
That's
all's
kinda good.
And Barnes & Noble ordered like another 2,000 signed copies. So my hand's going to fall
Your
off.
hand's going to fall
My
off.
hand's going to fall off. But it's
Just
worth
have
it.
Jet sign
Yeah,
up for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just something a little bit different. But no, the book's going great, but it lays out my entire formula of what they really wanted me to do is kind of download my brain and my mindset of how I communicate. So I talk about how to say things with control, say it with confidence, and say it to connect. And so that's my main framework that I have, and it has a lot of some of my best tips on social media, but also giving that framework and mindset that you want to go into when you're dealing with conflict and difficult conversations.
Do you remember, we were talking about this years ago, maybe a year or two ago, whenever you were writing the book, the working copy. Do you remember what your working title was? I got to go back to my text.
You would probably remember, but
because you had a really good title. Whatever it was, I was like, oh, I like that one. But they
I
changed
liked
it.
it
It's
too,
different
and they
now.
changed everything up. Yeah, well, because it was a title. I'll have to remember that.
I'll go through our text.
But I know I texted it to you because I was so pumped about it.
Yeah.
I knew you would like it, and then Ping was like, "Nah."
So like, my book for trying spine injury or disc injury cases will come out by the end of this year, beginning of
That's great.
2025. But it's been a long process. With the editing process, I brought
It's a lot.
doctors wrote a couple chapters. There was a lot of medical terms, like netter images we had to get, things like this. But I wanted to name the book Small Disc Energy.
Yeah.
They're not such a fan.
Yeah, but they probably wouldn't like that.
No, they did not.
No.
So like I had to do some other titles and things, but I kind of won the battle because one of my chapters about biomechanical experts is called Small Disc Energy.
That's a good one.
It's good.
Yeah, for
I bought that
Biomex.
social media handle as well. So
Nice. You already have it lined up.
yeah, I know how
That's
I will
fine.
promote the book.
Yeah,
but
I think
see
we
how
already
the
know how you're
publisher
gonna.
feels.
We already know how you're gonna promote it.
So we only had a short amount of time because we're all running around here at a conference, pulled in many different directions. And I know there's probably a line of people that want to see Jefferson Fisher after this.
I beg to differ.
Why?
No. That was the name of the title.
Oh, I beg to differ. That was it. That was, and I loved it.
You go, why?
You were thinking about that the whole time. I beg to differ, and I love that.
I was trying to like find a way to. How do you talk about disagreeing with people? But they're like, no.
And then when they go over book titles of the publisher, they're like, well, you got to do like an SEO term. Like, what would people be looking for?
Yeah,
and
it's a
mine
whole
was like
thing.
defeating disc injury defense. That's what they want to name the book.
The triple D.
The triple D. Because but it's a play off of the triple D of the defense was deny, delay.
Oh yes, I'm with you now.
Yeah, I usually do that in my closing argument too, and I do another one. I do the fourth, which is defame, where they just defame your client, make them feel belittled.
Get him with the sledgehammer.
Yep. But yeah, that's the interesting part of writing a book, and now, God, I'm so excited for your journey, dude.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, man, you've been with me for. Yeah. You and I connected really kind of at the very beginning of it, right when my video started to take off.
Just go because you were like, I remember when you texted me like, "Oh my God, the Rock is following me." Like you screenshot it. I was like,
I know.
What?
Yeah. When I have celebrities and stuff, it's still such a weird feeling. It's such a weird feeling.
Yeah. Just don't ever get that imposter syndrome, man, because you've earned everything that you've got.
Man.
Because
I appreciate it, man.
I was talking with some other folks about this last night. He's like, well, what's Jefferson really like? I'm like, he's like the most even-keeled, normal dude you ever meet. I was like, I actually try to get a rise out of you all the time, but Jefferson's just cool.
Yeah, he's got a cool hand, Luke.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't.
It's always been my personality.
I love it.
Now, I will say, I have other guys, that just happens to be my branch in the family. Like, there are other lines that are just bull in a china closet who will absolutely be the opposite of me, but that's just where I end up, man. But yeah, we've known each other a long time.
Long time. Well, you get to pick your Bourbon of Proof on this episode like the last one. So out of these two, you get to select which one spoke to you more and why, and then we'll do a victory pour on the way out.
Sounds great. I have to go with the Garrison.
Man.
It was too smooth. It was great. But even though I do love the drip, we call it Dripping Springs.
Dripping Springs, the ghost one, yeah.
Yeah.
You call it the drip?
The drip.
If Morrow was here, that was a low-hanging fruit joke for him.
You're probably right. It's the best that he's not. But though I love Dripping Springs, it's a great area.
Yeah, but I like the ghost one. I've had some of their other ones. This is great. Well, Jefferson, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
It's always nice to see you.
Hey, this is the most alone time we have
I know.
ever. The last time we were together, we said a bunch of kids.
Telling ghost stories.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, thanks for coming on the show.
And
people can find you at Jefferson Fisher.
Yep, Jefferson Fisher, jeffersonfisher.com. Search Jefferson. I'll be around.
Man, and you soon people are just going to call you Jefferson. They just call you Jefferson anyway. You're like Madonna now.
Yeah, I think we're trying to trademark it. So
good luck with that.
Yeah. I think that's what they're going to try. Well, specifically for communication, but because we're having lots of people that are faking it, like trying to.
We just did an episode on deep fakes with Ryan Steigar, and it was scary what they did.
The amount of fake accounts I have is scary.
Yeah, somebody was trying to sell me some very inappropriate things through DM, another personality of Jefferson. I should have screenshot it. I forgot, but it was not you.
Should have. Oh, I had some people that, it made me sick, but I had some people who, a lady who had given some money to some fake people because they promised for me to have a call with her or something. And
Ugh.
I know, bad people. But I'll tell you who's a good person, is Bob Simon. I'm glad
My dad?
No, yeah, right.
They're the same.
But yeah, man, it's been
nice.
It's been awesome to hang out with you, and I'm glad that you're here in our home state.
Yeah, we have an office down the street actually, so I'll be here more frequently.
I do need the name of that shirt though.
This one is called Icon. So look, I love targeted ads. In fact, I'm probably spamming everybody watching the show. You're seeing us all the time.
Okay.
So they actually told me that I needed this. It's called Icon. I was like, yes, I do. I bought it from Instagram. I had a shirt on yesterday that said, whiskey is my favorite spirit, with a picture of a ghost. Instagram found me for that. And here's another little hack that my wife does. Meta owns, obviously, Facebook.
Yes.
And Instagram. It also owns WhatsApp.
All right.
So if you're sharing information sometimes on WhatsApp, it'll find you. So my wife will send me picture drops of like, oh, here's us the kids with the weekend, all the stuff we're doing, and she'll slide in a picture of a handbag that she wants.
Yeah, and then
and it targets me. And like it took me a few times because I just get a picture dump, I save it all because I don't look through all of them, and then I start seeing this handbag all the time, and I was like, Chrissy.
Nice.
She just laughs. It's like, you got me. But it worked because I ended up, the end of the stories, I bought her the handbag. Everybody's happy.
There you go.
Instagram for the win.
I need that shirt. I know, you look more Texan than I do right now.
You know what? And you're wearing like some low dunks or something? What is this?
Yeah. Whatever these are.
They're nice. They're comfortable.
Nikes.
But these are the most comfortable shoes that I have. I swear to God, these ones. Because they're rubber soled. They're not like my Lucchese's, which are a little uncomfortable, more of a dress boot.
Yeah, those can be a little over time.
A little rough. But I burned my logo last time. Well, my sister got married here. She lived here for a while. I was drunk in Austin on Congress Street, obviously. I mean, that's where people are. And they had a pop-up Lucchese for you could do your branded stuff. And I went and just, 4 weeks later, I have these boots mailed to me with my logo on them. I was like, wow, Drunk Bob did a good job.
Look at, pat him on the back.
Pat him on the back. Well, Jeff, thanks for coming on the show, brother.
Cheers. Thanks for having me, brother. It's great to see you.
Everything is bigger than Texas.
Always.